I've had this wine rack sitting about in the workshop here for, I don't know, must be a couple of years now. Bought it in a charity shop. Not sure what I paid for it, but probably not a lot if it was from a charity shop. And I thought I'd better do something with it rather than keep moving it from one end of the workshop to the other when I do get round to tidying up. So I'm going to take some scaffold boards. I've got some bits and pieces here, offcuts, and I'm going to cut them down and make a frame for it and sit it into it. I've done it before with a smaller wine rack of this design, and it came out well, and it actually sold very quickly. Sold it on eBay, the last one. This one I shall probably put it onto my Facebook page, see if there's any interest on there, and if not, that'll have to go onto eBay. Right, I'll just cut the wood, get the scaffold board down, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've cut three pieces of the four that I'm going to need, and I've cut them down to that's going to be the top. That's 2 foot long, and these will be the two sides, and I cut them at 32 inches. Once I've got it up as a frame as such, I shall then measure between and put a piece in underneath the actual wine holders or wine bottle holder itself to give that some support. And then I shall probably put a small, just a slim strip in under that, which I'll show you when I've done it, that will help hold everything rigid. I'm now about to clean the boards up, sand them down. I'm not going to record doing that because, for one, that's really noisy and dusty, and I've actually done another video some time ago showing how to sand or showing how I sand the boards down. So if you are interested in watching that, you can find that on my channel. But like I say, I'm now going to sand these down, and I shall be back in a second. Right, that's the 3 boards cleaned up. What I'm going to do now is mark out the width of the actual wine rack onto this one here, so I know where to put the boards on the outside. I've done it right. Right, I think what I need to do is come in about 40mm, which is just over 1.5 inches. Going to school at a time when they changed over from feet and inches to centimetres and millimetres, I tend to work in both measurements. Just use whichever one is easiest, to be honest. use an old piece of board. I'm not going to put a overlap on there on the top. That way if it's going into, if somebody's got an alcove or something they want to slot it into, give them a little bit more option on the size. Yep, that'll do it. Mark and measure and mark where I'm going to put the screws. Come in 2 inches, what we got. So, 120. On one of my other videos, somebody asked me why I put the screws where you can see them. Why I don't use, is it pocket holes or whatever they call it. And to be honest, the way I look at it is just want to be rustic furniture. You tend not to hide things. Right. By a chihuahua, every little noise or movement they see, they go off on one. Yeah, once I've drilled, screwed the screws in, I make sure they go below the surface a good way, and then I can just put a bit of filler over the top and then I wax over it. You can, like I say, see where they are, but I just think it adds to the character. And I screw the top down onto the tops of these and make sure that where the wood go, where the grain runs, that goes at the bottom where it looks like a bowl. Because if there is any shrinkage, there shouldn't be in these because they've been in the workshop for quite a long time, so they're really well dried out. But if there is any shrinkage, that will pull down from the sides that way, and if you screw it down flat onto here, that helps to keep that all in place. Right. The same with these. That one's quite near the centre, so it's not too bad. But I'll make sure that that goes to the inside, so that any pull on it will be that way and not outwards. Bench is too far. Line everything up first. In fact, I'll drop the wine rack part into there. In the right place. Yep. Glue it. Glue and screws. was asked on one of the other videos why I use second-hand scaffold boards when new ones are really cheap. I guess the only answer I got to that is I wouldn't be upcycling if I was using new stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, the older boards are actually, well, got better character. They've been used and worn, and they look a lot better. I use 3-inch screws. Not so much will they go in below the surface. Just get one screw on each side to start with. Right, fits in okay. Clean up that bit of glue before it gets onto other stuff. Rag here somewhere. Measurement for 20.5 inches, which is what this piece is for. Wrong there. I did 21.5. Less haste, more speed. When I say speed, I mean time. Again, the grain going that way, I'll put it in that way so if anything it pulls up tight against the actual rack. Where's the tape measure? See if this is in square. £1 38. 38, yep. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it this way. Where's that 275? 275. This should be the same. Almost. Yeah. One on here. Battery's getting a little low in that one. A little bit of glue. Apart a little bit. There we go. I have to have it on the drill setting because the ratchet clicks off too soon before it'll bury the screws. struggles a bit. Part of it is the wood is really dry, so it's hardened off. And that one went in really easy. Two on this side, oh, one on this side left. That went in easy too. Now it's just a case of putting a coat of wax on it. Need something to support this better, although that is in there fairly tight, but I'll put something across the back, just a bit of thin ply or something like that, just so I can go into it. Maybe, right, I'll just go find a piece of something suitable. I've slid the wine rack part out. I'm just going to make up some filler to fill over the tops of the screws. Probably make them way too much, but there we go. Something to mix it up with. So much rubbish lying about the workshop at the moment. There's plenty of bits of wood and perhaps I haven't made enough. I'll probably have to do some more. I just use the sawdust from when I've cut the boards. I'll just go over to the saw and get the fresh sawdust that I know has come off these boards, and it blends in quite well. And so you can see where they're filled, but I just think it's all part of the character. Squeeze a bit into it. When it dries off, I'll sand over it. And when you get the wax on there, that fills in any holes as well. Or the holes, you know what I mean? Any little bits of it. I usually give them 2, maybe 3 coats of wax. Make sure they've got a good covering. Definitely haven't made enough, I don't think. That's just how I fill it over. Around, do it on all of them. So I'll go over it again with the sander. I think what I'll do with the wine rack part, I might just drill a small hole in the wood itself on the rack, and then put some really thin screws through. Not sure yet. I don't really want to put something on the back, because I think what will happen is it just won't look right. You probably think that don't look right anyway. It's a little bit more glue up. Obviously you can buy fillers, and I think I've got some in one of the cupboards here, but I like doing it this way. That weren't the Chihuahua, that was the American. Recording cut off just then. I was about to say American Bulldog. Right, back to this. I've decided to secure this in by putting a screw in 4 places, 2 each side, and I've worked it out 55mm up from the bottom of here, and from the top of there we'll put a screw into the wooden part of the actual wine rack. I've got some long screws that are not too heavy duty, and I'm going to put them, I've done one already that side, and I'm now going to put one in, or the other 3 in, and hopefully they'll all be in the right place. Yep, that one got it. Should make sure it stays secure, it won't fall out. I don't think it's going to fall out anyway, but I'm putting some screws into it. Dodge the head on that screw, but it's gone in. Right. Yeah, that all worked out right. So I'll take this out again now and give it a good coat of wax. I'll leave just around the screws that I've just put in, I'll leave a little space around them. So I'll have to screw them back in and then put a little bit of filler in, and then touch it up with the wax. I'll come back to the video, and once I've got a coat of wax on it. I've given the inside part and the top of the wine rack one coat of wax so far. I've got to just allow that to dry now, and then I can buff it up and then give it another coat. I'll then put the rack part of it into it and secure it, and then I can do the sides, fill the screw holes on the side and the tops of the heads, and then give that a couple of coats on the outside, and that should be done. So next time I show it to you, that should all be finished, hopefully. I might have to adjust the bottoms of the sides, because they're scaffold boards and it's old wood. That is always hard to get them to sit nice and flat on the floor, and it just requires a bit of adjustment on the base. And then we just sand it down until I get it to sit nice and flat. But like I say, next time you see it, it should all be finished. Well, it's finally finished. It's now had 2 coats of wax. I will buff it up again when the wax hardens off a bit more. stuck with the video this far, thanks for watching. And I can drag on a bit when I'm waffling away. If you want to see more of what I do, you can visit my page on Facebook, Whips Woodwork, or I've got the website whipswoodwork.co.uk. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to look. Hope you like what I've done. Got any questions, just comment below the video. Thanks very much.